Greetings from Australia and welcome back to our channel. My name is Ruth and I am an Australian immigration law practitioner here in Australia. Well, in today's video, I would like to share with you 4 things you must provide for an Australian tourist visa. Now, please do not treat the contents of this video as legal or migration advice because we assess each case on a case-by-case basis. However, we trust that the content in this video will provide you with an overall brief as to what you need to look out for if you're looking for an Australian tourist or visitor's visa. So without further ado, let's get started. So what are the 4 things you must provide in order to obtain an Australian visitor's or tourist visa? The first thing is you need to determine the purpose of your visit. For example, if you are visiting family and friends in Australia, then usually you will be required to provide a letter of invitation from your friend or family member. And this person will have to declare that they have invited you to come for a visit in Australia. In most cases, I would also suggest that the invitor, so the person who is inviting you, provide evidence of sufficient funds. If you're staying with them, then they should also declare that on their letter to say this is their address. They're going to be providing you with complimentary accommodation. At the same time, I would also go to the extent of showing immigration evidence of their address. So usually a tenancy agreement or lease agreement should do it, or utility bills to show that they are actually living in Australia. In terms of sufficient funds, usually bank statements, pay slips, tax record, these type of documents will go on to support the application. And the reason why immigration encourages that is because they want to make sure that when you come to Australia as a visitor, you are looked after. And you're not going to be left out on the streets, okay? So if you're not staying in a hotel, you haven't got anything booked, then it's always a good idea to have a friend or family member vouch for you that they will be quite happy to look after you during your visit here in Australia. The second thing that you must provide for an Australian visitor's or tourist visa is your intention. So any documents that could show that you are a genuine tourist and that could show that you have the intention to return home, back to your home country after your visit. So this would be things like if you've got family members like a spouse or a partner or younger children back home and they're in school. So in some extent, immigration will even require the evidence of your children's school enrollment to say that they're enrolled in a particular school, like a primary or secondary or high school. If you have employment back home, then usually evidence to show that you are being employed. So this could be your pay slips, tax records, but also a letter from your employer to say that you've worked for them from X date to now and they've approved your leave and they're expecting your return on such and such a date. So this would really help with your application in terms of showing that you are a genuine tourist and that you have the intention to return home. The third thing that you must provide in order to be approved of an Australian tourist visa is you also need to show evidence of sufficient funds. Now, we understand that not all clients will be able to show a huge sum of money in their bank statement, but if you have assets or funds in a fixed term deposit, generally immigration would like you to show that those funds are readily accessible if you come to Australia. So I would definitely recommend that you provide as many documents as possible to show that you have the capability to support your stay in Australia. At the same time, as mentioned previously, your sponsor or your family member or friend who has invited you, we also recommend that they show that there is sufficient funds in their account to support you in the event that you are unable to support yourself. So funds is very, very important. And just on that note, it is also important. It's not a requirement. It's not a requirement, but it's always good to obtain health travel insurance, because in case something happens, when you are here during your visit, you're not gonna be able to, get the Australian government to help you pay for your medical bills. So it's always good to have some sort of insurance before you come, and that's going to alleviate the fear of Australian government as well, because they'll know that you'll be looked after if you come to Australia and you have actually got a private health insurance to cover your period of stay. And finally, the fourth thing you must provide for an Australian visitor's visa is, if you are here as a tourist, then it would be wonderful if you can provide an itinerary. Okay, so it's not a must as such, but it's very, very highly recommended. For example, if you're coming to Australia and you would like to visit the theme parks, or you would like to visit Australia Zoo, or you would like to go to the beach, then it's always good to have a chat with the person who's invited you. Or if you're coming by yourself, do a bit of research before coming, and then plan an itinerary and say, okay, on this day I'm going to arrive in this airport, then I'm going to travel to this location via this type of transport, whether it's by limousine or a bus, or I'm going to walk to the beach and drag my suitcase with me. So just have a list of things that you plan to do, and be specific and with your plan, and also the departure date as to when you would like to leave and return to your home country. So those are very, very important, because these will go on to show that you are actually a genuine tourist. You see, the purpose of a tourist visa is that you are here as a tourist. The purpose of a visitor's visa is that you're here to visit. So what that really means is your intention has to be here as a genuine visitor, and after which you want to return home. So for that reason, it is so important that all applicants provide the required documents at the time you apply, because it's not great when you apply for the visa and then if you get a refusal because of insufficient information, then you have a record with Australian immigration that there have been a previous visa refusal. And this is really important too, because let's say you have actually had a visa refused before. Like, don't lose heart, don't give up, because we've had cases where one of our clients had 4 prior tourist visa refusals, and then when we did it the 5th time, because she found us eventually, but she tried to do it herself and via different agents, but we got her an approval. And we even had another case, which was, I call it a very dramatic case, with 5 previous refusals, and yet we got them through the 6th time. So don't lose heart, but it's so important that if you were to reapply again, there is going to be a question in the visa application asking if you've had a previous visa refused. It is very, very important that you declare truthful information, which means if you have had a visa refused, you need to declare that and give them a reason why. Don't be afraid of that, because at least if you declare it, you're telling the truth, and you're giving yourself a fighting chance. But if you don't declare the truth, or you forgot, or you did the application yourself and you didn't even see the question, what happens is that even if they want to give you the visa, the new visa that you've applied for, they can actually refuse the new visa based on the failure to declare on the previous visa, because now it goes to your character, and they're like, well, oh, did you lie? Why didn't you tell us? So it's so important to declare everything. But if you're caught in that position where you're not too sure if you're gonna get the visa, or if you've had a previous visa refused, and it's a little bit tricky and you want to see if you can try again, please don't hesitate to contact us, because we've dealt with complicated cases before, and we have gotten our clients through. We can't guarantee success, but But yeah, the obligation is really on the applicant's part to show that they will meet the genuine entrant requirement. So I would like you to leave you with that. So just to quickly summarize, the 4 things you must provide for an Australian tourist visa is: if you are here to visit family and friends, then a letter of invitation and some details regarding your sponsor. Number 2, provide evidence that you have the intention to return home. Number 3, sufficient funds. Number 4, if you're here as a tourist, or if you're here as a tourist and you plan to visit family, then your itinerary, your planned itinerary in Australia, and your departure date. So I hope that gives you a brief idea as to the tourist visa requirement. It's one of those visas that look fairly simple on the outset, but at times it can get fairly complicated. So if you need help, just shoot us an email on the email address below, or submit a form on our website, and we'll be happy to assist. But once again, please do not treat the contents of this video as legal or migration advice, because each case is different. But if you need help, just contact us and we'll be happy to help. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching our video, and we wish you the very best in your future endeavors.